Welcome to San Diego County's Land Use and Environment Group's public meeting presentation on the recently released Draft Notice of Funding Availability, or NOFA, on expanding broadband infrastructure and affordability. On May 15, 2024, San Diego County released a draft NOFA to invest $9 million in American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA funding, toward broadband infrastructure projects to promote high-speed internet access and affordability in the unincorporated areas. As part of this process, the county's Land Use and Environment Group is seeking input from unincorporated residents on the draft evaluation and scoring that will be used to competitively evaluate projects for funding. The deadline for submitting comments on the draft NOFA is June 10, 2024. The county's broadband team has put together a brief presentation on the draft NOFA and instructions for how members of the public can submit comments and feedback online. The agenda slide outlines the three topics covered in today's presentation. First, we will do some brief context setting on what is high-speed internet, the definition we're using to describe it, and why it is important in our everyday lives. Second, we will walk through a summary timeline of what the county has been working on to expand high-speed internet access and affordability. And finally, we will provide an overview of the proposed framework outlined in the draft NOFA for evaluating project applications. It goes without saying that access to high-speed internet has become increasingly essential to our everyday lives. When we refer to high-speed internet in this presentation and in the draft NOFA, we are using the definition used by the Federal Communications Commission, or FCC, and in the ARPA final rule. Some of the key applications and benefits of high-speed internet that we think about include, but are not limited to, education. For example, being able to access remote learning opportunities or simply do homework online. Healthcare, for example, being able to contact your healthcare provider and attend online telehealth appointments. Economic and workforce development. For example, most jobs today require you to apply online or may have a component of remote work. Government services. For example, being able to watch this public presentation online or being able to access critical public safety benefits. And finally, quality of life. For example, being able to access entertainment services or simply being able to connect with family and friends. The NOFA and the current public engagement effort builds on previous engagement and analysis completed by the county in 2022 and 2023, where needs such as availability, reliability, and affordability rose to the top. This slide summarizes these efforts, recent developments, and next steps in the NOFA process. As mentioned, in 2022 and 2023, the county conducted a number of research and analysis and stakeholder engagement activities that culminated in the publication of the finalized comprehensive broadband plan. Based on the needs and priorities identified across the unincorporated region in the comprehensive broadband plan, the county conducted some additional work to begin to identify the types of infrastructure projects that could be deployed to unserved and underserved areas. Moving ahead into 2024 and where we are today, as mentioned, the County Board of Supervisors in March approved use of $9 million in ARPA funds toward reliable and affordable internet service. Then in May, the draft Notice of Funding Availability was released for public comment. The county is now in the midst of obtaining input from the public, internet service providers, and community-based organizations on the criteria contained within the draft NOFA. The public comment period will close on June 10, 2024. As far as next steps, the county will be taking the feedback and input received on the draft, finalizing, and then publishing the final NOFA on expanding broadband infrastructure and affordability sometime in July. Finally, the county will be reviewing project applications, selecting winners, and awarding funding sometime in fall 2024. This next slide summarizes the scope of work included in the draft NOFA. The county seeks to fund infrastructure projects that expand affordable, high-speed broadband service, Specifically, in compliance with the ARPA final rule, the county would like to evaluate applications from eligible applicants to fund infrastructure development that reliably produces internet speeds that meet or exceed 100 megabits per second download speeds and 20 megabits per second upload speeds, to subsidize costs of internet services for low-income households that were enrolled in the federally funded Affordable Connectivity Program, or ACP, and have broadband services, and/or subsidize costs for new households that would have qualified for ACP if they had internet services during the launch of the program. The 4 tasks included in the scope of work are briefly summarized in the 4 boxes on this slide. First, infrastructure development. The project must build high-speed, last-mile broadband infrastructure in unserved and underserved areas. Unserved is defined as without access to speeds of 25.3 megabits per second. Underserved is defined as without access to speeds of 120 megabits per second. Second, access to internet service provider. The service provider associated with the project must offer high-speed internet service plans to unserved and underserved premises. Third, affordability plans. The service provider associated with the project must offer affordably priced service plan options. Fourth, this is the optional subsidy program. The provider associated with the project must use grant funds to partially subsidize internet service plans to low-income households. Low-income households are defined per ARPA poverty standards and are the higher of 300% of the federal poverty level and 65% of area median income for San Diego County on a household-by-household basis. For further detail on the project application requirements and draft scope of work, please see the published draft NOFA online on the county's broadband engagement website. Finally, it is on this slide where we are primarily seeking public feedback and comment on the draft evaluation and scoring framework. The project application scoring section of the draft NOFA available online outlines 3 overarching evaluation categories. 1, return on investment, 2, environment, safety, and resiliency, and 3, regional collaboration. Each category contains a set of criteria which will be evaluated individually on a scale from 1 to 10. As the scoring section is currently written, each criteria will be equally weighted toward the total project score, which is out of 100 points. The criteria corresponding to each of the 3 evaluation categories are summarized in the table on this slide. More detail on each of the criteria is included in the draft NOFA. Going from left to right and starting with the return on investment column, this category includes 6 criteria and as such comprises the largest share of total points, 60 out of 100. The criteria are the following. 1, meets requirements and is an effective use of funds. 2, number of locations served. 3, portion of locations served that are unserved or underserved. 4, feasibility of technology. 5, commitment to affordable pricing, and 6, percentage of private matching funds. The second evaluation category, environment, safety, and resiliency, comprises 30 out of 100 total points. The criteria for this category include 1, minimal environmental impacts, 2, aligns with the comprehensive broadband plan and the county's general plan, 3, aligns with other internet infrastructure expansion projects or supports future build-out plans. The third evaluation category is regional collaboration, which comprises 10 out of 100 total points. The criteria for this category includes the project uses Caltrans Middle Mile Initiative or supports local, regional, or tribal build-outs. As you review the evaluation and scoring criteria, we invite your thoughts on whether we are including the right set of evaluation criteria, and from your perspective, if there are any criteria that should be prioritized more in the evaluation process. You can additionally provide your input through the county's broadband engagement website or directly by email. The links to both the website and the project email address are copied below for reference. As a reminder, the public comment period for this opportunity closes on June 10th, 2024. Thank you so much for watching this presentation.